it play and call it work.
Hello everybody and welcome to Sit and Talk with Luka here from MiniWarGaming. I must apologize for a couple of things. The fact that we haven't done the Sit and Talk for nearly 3 weeks, and I am sorry for that. I know a lot of you out there enjoy the Sit and Talk. But we are now continuing with our normal Sit and Talk schedule as we have finished our move. Cullen has got the live stream room set up. I think you're rotating it. Is that
So it's a little interesting the way we're going to be doing the live stuff in the new building. We're going to be in this studio for the duration of our next RPG campaign.
Okay.
So as long as we're doing that, then we'll be in here. And then when we go to, after that, I guess, series, session, campaign is done.
Right.
Then we will be switching it up, and whether it's a different game or just a whole different campaign, we'll be moving to a studio that better fits the theme. So I guess the hint here is that this room is themed slightly related to the next D&D campaign.
This is the Arcanaut room, as we've labeled it here. It's supposed to be based off of the Karajan Overlords and Age of Sigmar, though it has a fantasy theme to it. Now, second thing I want to apologize, and I'll talk about the live streaming show as well in a moment, is the echo in the room. We have soundproofed the rooms, except this one took it the least. This one's the least changed, and we're going to have to fix that at some point. But
it's the studio with the most flat spots on the walls.
Right. We got a flat wall right beside me. The wall behind me has very little, I guess, surface, other than, I don't know what you'd call it, but flat, 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 flat. And then obviously the ceiling's completely flat. We have the soundproofing on the ceiling. You can't see it, but we need to do a little bit more. And again, I apologize for the echo. And for the live stream show, the D&D show, that won't be happening this next week as there's been complications. That will be postponed
Not complications, just more planning.
Oh, okay. I thought it was complications. It's
just
more planning.
planning.
All right. Matt didn't have his meeting, wasn't able to have his meeting and discuss things. That's right.
Exactly.
Matt is essentially waiting for the players to have a good time where they can all get together and discuss their characters, discuss the narrative, and where they want to go right away. And that just hasn't happened yet. So that's going to be postponed until, I'm not too sure when. Cullen doesn't know when either.
Yeah, I mean, I will pretty much once, because right now for the live streaming, I just got the one camera set up just for this show.
Yeah.
And I still have yet to figure out how we've got tracks on the ceiling.
Yep.
But I don't know what to put into them yet. Right now we've got lights, so I need to find out something, like to buy something so I can just insert a normal thing. So I got to do that and get all the other cameras. It'll definitely be it's a smaller room than our previous live studio, so it'll be tight.
Oh, yeah.
A little tighter than the last one for sure. But the next campaign also only has 4 players. So
I believe in you.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do the best we can.
I am sure something exists that you can fit a camera onto one of these tracks.
Right. I mean, they were installed with the idea of that. That's what they were for, so...
That's also... I thought they were for the lights. I never would have thought they'd be for the cameras, but that makes
It was supposed to be for all of the above.
Right. Well, they work for the lights currently. And that's pretty much it for the apologies. As you know, we just finished our move. We're getting back on schedule here, and we'll get there, guys. Promise on that. As well as next week is Matthew, speaking of getting back on track with the Sit and Talk. So, if you want to leave your questions for Matthew and you're not able to watch this show live, as everyone else sometimes can, and you watch this on YouTube, if you want to leave a question for Matthew, you have to go to MiniWarGaming.com and go to the Sit and Talk there, not on YouTube because the comments should be disabled. Leave a question for Matt, at Matthew, at Boss, at Lord MiniWarGaming, whatever you want to call him. You can leave your questions there for him, and he will then hopefully answer them, as well as the questions you bring forth to him live. And I'm going to activate that right now. So Nightbot, Chatbot. Is it Nightbot or Chatbot? Streamlabs.
This is Streamlabs.
Yeah, Streamlabs. So I'm going to open it, and what you want to do is type !ask space and then your question, and that will queue it up for me to see, and I can answer it. But don't make it too long. Try and keep the characters shorter. Keep the question concise and short. That way I can actually read the whole thing, other than having to tell Cullen to go back and find it. Now that is possible, but if I take a while to get to some of these questions, which I usually do because I ramble, it might be lost in translation. As well as you won't be able to ask multiple questions until I ask the previous question that you sent for me. And as always, I will be answering questions from both people live and people that left questions on MiniWarGaming.com under last week's Sit and Talk that Steve did. No, I shouldn't say last week. I should say April 11th, which was almost 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been a while, and definitely getting back in the rhythm of things is...
Right. You know what? The move took 2 weeks, and yeah.
At the beginning of it was like, oh, we're going to be done in a week. And then it was, and it just as you go, like, it was something.
It took the 10 days. Actually, we did it in 9 days, I think.
True.
No, we recorded on the Friday, so we did it in 8 days.
Yep.
It was an 8-day move.
That is true.
I will start with a couple of questions from Streamlabs, and then I will jump to the Vault segment.
But before that, we've got a couple new subscribers, or returning.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for coming back. Now, of course, not streaming a whole lot. We lost a lot of our subs, so we got to get those numbers back up.
Yep, so we've got Corn Puffs 9 for 5 months.
Is that spelled KH?
No, it's the real Corn Puffs, like the cereal. We got Yarum71 for 6 months. Fantastic.
Nice.
And Harrylicious.
Welcome back.
For another 6 months. Thank you guys so much.
Yes. The subs support the live streaming, and with them, we can live stream even more. Come up with new creative ideas. Obviously, I know Cullen and I, well, a while ago, we came up with all these cool ideas we could do, but that would take up a lot of our time.
Yes.
So we had to kind of justify that by getting more support, and obviously any support you can do is a huge boon to us here at MiniWarGaming.com.
And especially with the tournament hall. I don't know what that's going to mean for streaming.
Right.
But that opens up a whole new realm of possibilities potentially.
It is big. We have like a
top table.
Like a top table, yeah.
Exactly. So
or you just have the top table here.
Yeah.
Right, you just bring
that's what it would be.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of potential with this new building. And we're still we had ideas initially what they would do, but as we moved in, they've kind of evolved. And now that we can see what we can work with, we can see that we can do so much more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, first question is going to be by MisoMiso82. How was the move? Well, MisoMiso, the move was actually pretty, for me, it was pretty easy. I found it to be pretty easy. Just show up, do what you're told for 8 hours, pick up box A, put it in location B, boop, and then just do that for 8 hours, boop, boop. But it wasn't like 8 hours of monotonous hard labor. It was just kind of, it was pretty relaxed. It was pretty well paced. I'd like to give a shout out to a couple of the older guys in the studio. They really did good work and they pushed themselves a little too hard. Hashtag Rob. Poor Rob. Rob shows up after 3 days of moving, asking, my back is bad. I can't do anything. And then everyone's like, obviously, just, you know what, just label boxes if you want to, sit down, wrap boxes, build boxes, do whatever is light labor, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's like, no problem. And what does he do? First thing he does, climbs into the vault, grabs a ladder, climbs to the very top of the ladder, and starts taking down all of the very heavy tax papers and putting them down to boxes of years worth of tax receipts and documents and just handing them down. And we're all like, Rob, what did you just say? He's like, I feel great, guys. And then that didn't last long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's very good at, no, I'm fine. And then stamina kicks in.
Yep. And I think I remember the next day he's like, I can't make it in, guys. That happened a couple of times. Chris was pretty sore once, couldn't make it in. Lee hurt himself a couple of times too.
I know Mike was running himself baths on the constant.
Yep. Mike was like, gotta have a bath. Gotta relax the bones. Gotta relax the muscles. Everything's not going so great. I felt fine.
Well, I mean, without you, Luka, this move would have been so much more painful.
I'm a hero.
There were literally boxes labeled Luka lift only.
Luka lift only. To be fair, that was because I packed them, so I earned that honor, I guess we'll call it. The fact was, I was packing up the cabinets that have all of our relevant and not relevant codexes.
Mostly
books,
not relevant.
Novels. Mostly not relevant. Thank you, Matthew.
Sorry if there was I just heard a sound issue come through there.
Is there a sound issue? I'll continue in a moment. Unless it's good.
I don't know exactly what caused that.
Are we good?
I think so.
Okay. So I packed up, they were like 2 foot by, what did you say? Like 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot cube boxes? Something like that?
Yeah, about that.
So I filled all those up from the bottom to the top with hardcover books. And wow, would you believe that that's pretty heavy for anyone else to carry? I struggled. Towards the end, after carrying for a while, I was pushing around on the carpet and then the box buckled and all the books fell out. And
Womp womp.
womp womp. I had to load up a tote and take all the books downstairs. But yeah, I packed poorly. I didn't pack considering other people. I packed only considering myself. And even then, that like whole 2-foot cube of books was a little too heavy. Other than that, though, the move was very smooth. The bosses and Josh, well, I guess he's technically a boss. So the bosses were all very proud of everyone's work. Everyone worked together very well. We got the majority of the move done in the first week, the first 4 days. Because even on Thursday, we were kind of taking a half day, and then Monday to the next week's Monday to Thursday was essentially very small, light labor tasks like collecting the rest of the remaining pieces of terrain we left at the old building, grabbing the chairs, grabbing a couple of tables we might need. We ended up just scrapping a lot of that stuff we brought back over anyways.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite parts was actually this week, Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Josh and I got to go in, and there was Aaron's desk and Rob's desk. They both got new desks.
Yeah.
So their old desks were still in the building and had to be torn down. And Josh and I, we went to pick them up, and the things just fell apart.
Yeah.
And then we just got to like curb stomp them into the ground. It was so satisfying.
I think Erin's desk is probably when she started.
I think so.
So the 10.
Literally,
12,
Josh and I were like,
11.
where do we grab it to? And we both picked it up from an end, and it just buckled in the center.
This is an ancient desk, so that's why they got new desks. Yeah, the last week was super easy. Things like labeling terrain, putting terrain away, labeling models, putting models away, that kind of thing, right? Trying to keep it organized method.
Still needs to be finished, though.
Yes, we're only not even halfway through labeling all the models. But it's a good system. It's a good system, and I'm really hopeful that we all adhere to it. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I've noticed like even the shelves that are labeled are so much nicer, and then you go to the ones that aren't, and you're like, where does it go? I don't even know.
Right. It's just we have nice little labels that say this is corn box number 6, and then you find the box labeled corn number 6, and then the corn box has like little bullets on it that says, oh, this box contains X, Y, and Z. And then you take corn box 6 and you put it back where corn box 6 is labeled. It's amazing, and it takes a little bit of work, but in the long run, it should work out because we tried this method with our Age of Sigmar models in the old building, and that worked pretty well. But Matthew is the one that did it, so he's the one who labeled it all. So he really made sure that his work was like respected. Okay, next question here is by Napalm Bomb. If there's any more questions about the move that I didn't cover, by all means ask them, and I will try to answer them.
But before you got that, we've got 2 more subs. We got Drakillian for 6 months.
Welcome back, Drakillian. Nice.
Half a year, being a creepy Twitch stalker. Thank you so much, Corey. We will see you in a couple weeks. I think you're coming up. Yep. So I'm excited to see you again. Seeing you at Adepticon was awesome, and yeah, I'm excited for you to see the new building too. And Hellbrick for another 6 months. Welcome back, sir.
Like Helbre, like CHET, Hellbrecht. Is it
Hellbrick?
That's Hellbrecht. I wasn't sure, like
Helbrek.
Oh, okay. Not the same guy I'm thinking of.
Also, I have one camera nerd point of I think our white balance is off for everyone who can watch this and notices that everything looks a tad pink. I am going to try to fix that. I don't know if anyone else noticed, but I did.
Camera's over there, so I look over. That's why I'm looking over that way a lot. I'll focus on the camera, I promise. This next question is by Napalm Bomb. Where do babies come from? Well,
that's a loaded question.
That's a good question. It depends on your perspective. I'm not going to answer it. Birds and the bees. Ask your mom.
Talk to your local healthcare professional.
Yes, that's actually much better than asking your mom sometimes. The moms don't always know.
MWGer for life. 4 months Twitch Prime sub.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Name too.
And yes, I know it's MiniWarGamer, but I like to call you MWGer.
You call him MWGer?
Mm-hmm.
It works. It works. This next one is by Richards. Will the built-in hotel also open soon? I don't actually know the question of that, but it is all done. I know that. I've seen them. They're really cool. My favorite feature is like the modern bathrooms in all of them.
Yeah,
they're all pretty big bathrooms that are all stand-up showers, and it's pretty great.
Unfortunately, for like all those questions of when is this going to be ready and when is that going to be ready, we get to play the we just work here card.
Oh yeah, we only work here. I don't know. I just do what I'm told when I show up in the morning.
Pretty much. That's not really our can of worms. That's Dave.
Yeah, Dave and I think
Tournaments is Josh.
Yeah.
So that it will all be figuring out when that gets figured out.
Like Cullen said, no idea when those are opening up, but I know that they're built. Is the furniture in there? I don't think so yet. I can give you those 2 pieces of information.
I think
unless it is.
I think we have most of the furniture except for the beds. So the most important.
Right. So we're lacking beds, but know that I think that the rooms are quite cool and very convenient for any wargamers who just kind of want to walk down the stairs and around the corner to the side of the building to go to the tournament hall, right? Go play some. Actually, no, it's not even around the corner. You just go. It's like the door, literally, right? You go to Dan's shop and go to the back. Yeah, that's convenient. It's gonna be great. And then there's like a room up there to war game too. Maybe that's what I heard, but it might be not true come the time of actual opening. So don't take what I say. Take what I say with a grain of salt. Next question is by
Luke. It should be for you. It should be a grain of pepper.
Grain of pepper. Thank you. Yes, Cullen would like to point out that I greatly enjoy pepper.
I have never seen a man put so much pepper on any food in my life. Or every food, for that.
Chris asked me if I was French, and I didn't know what that meant. Apparently, French people like to put pepper on their food a lot.
I didn't know that either.
I just like pepper on things. It's got a good flavor, you know. Does that make sense? Catfish. With the move being done and everything settles, what is Luka's 2019 goals? Well, that is a good question. Now that the move is done and it's all settled, I guess I have to think of some goals. Currently, it is just getting right back into the motion because after 2 weeks of not wargaming, I really was craving some wargaming. I'm currently playing a game of Age of Sigmar with Vito right now that is technically being interrupted by this.
It's happening behind you.
Actually, yes, it's actually, this wall here is adjoined to the room that I'm playing with Vito right now. We're playing in the All Points studio, which is the Age of Sigmar fantasy, or very fantasy themed studio. I think it's my favorite.
I'm excited to do live streams in there.
Yeah.
Because for things like the Open Vault, the sit and talk, we can literally have a different backdrop
every time.
Yeah. I guess the one with the door is probably a no-go.
You'd have 3 different backdrops.
Yeah, but the idea to just this way we're gonna come from this side of the room, and then we can flip to the other side, and then flip to the end of the table.
Yep. 3 rotations. My favorite studio by far. Just because I like that fantasy aesthetic. It's all nice wood, green, bright colors, happy feelings. It's a greatness. It's great. What are my 2019 goals, though? Finish my Space Wolves. Pick up. I would love to finish my Space Wolves. We're getting there. I don't know. I haven't had the. What is it? When you want to push yourself to do something? Ambition? Not ambition. Kind of ambition. I haven't had the ambition to finish them. I got all the boring work done. I got them all base coated, shaded. And I like the recess shading is all done. Now I'm just kind of doing like a little bit of highlights on the armor. Then I got to pick out the metals and the furs and like power weapons and stuff like that. So I just haven't done that part yet. I just lost a little bit, not interest, but I want to play video games, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've definitely lost steam on this game, and after honestly Adepticon.
Steam, thank you. Man, that's what I was trying to.
Oh, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I've lost steam. I don't have the ambition, stuff like that. But that's gonna be a 2019 goal, as well as pick up a. I don't actually technically own an Age of Sigmar army, guys, viewers, anyone out there, just because I was gonna buy Nighthaunt when it came out, but Matthew just bought up so much Nighthaunt at the studio, and no one else played it. So I figured, okay, I guess I'll just play the studio Nighthaunt and just color my own for now. And if I want to bring it home and play at a tournament or with friends, I'll do that. I just really want to buy my own Age of Sigmar army, paint it up how I want to paint it up, and get that done. But I kind of want to do that when my Space Wolves are done. I'm pretty much done with my Necrons. I have to finish painting 6 more raids, and I wouldn't mind like a couple of Doomsday arcs, but that's like back burner stuff. That's not really super important. Oh yeah, 2019 army. I was kind of waiting for Games Workshop to release technically another Death Army that I'm interested in. I would love to see, okay, hypothetically, if Soulblight Vampires came out, like Vampire Infantry that kept the exact same aesthetic with like the weird pointing up armor plates and like the overall pointy armor, heavy armor, martial prowess, really good in close combat, kind of fast, a lot of self-healing. I would love an army like that. I would 100% play that, and I would 100% buy that right away. So I would definitely go for something like that. As for other goals in 2019, I wouldn't know what to tell you because I can't think of anything immediately. Wargaming related, no. Nothing crazy. I'm going to go answer a question from a Vault member now. This is going to be from Arkham Halo. This is on MiniWarGaming.com at Mr. Dice. First of all, thanks for all the great content. And also, I want to start the Horus Heresy, but a little clueless on where to start. So what books would I need, and also what would you say to buy for the first bunch of models? Thank you, and keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Arkham Hero. The Horus Heresy, that's the books you need to buy are the rule book, core rule book. It's I'm a huge fan of that book. It's got it's pretty much 7th edition, but with like added like slight nuance changes and a lot of all the FAQ kind of thrown together from old 7th edition 40K. But now there's a little bit of FAQs out too pertaining to the Heresy. I don't know if they actually hit the core rulebook at all, but the core rulebook's a great source. You're definitely going to need that. You're going to need... I'm a huge fan of the Legions book and the Army List book because that gives you all the information you need on how to build your forces and what forces you're allowed to take. The Legions book gives you the rules for your Legion and your unique Legion units, such as like special Terminators, special assault marines, like things like that, special dreadnoughts that your Legion alone can take. So you need that book to get that information. But failing getting the red book, you could get the black book, which are the narrative books that kind of release when new armies come out, that has your army rules in them as well. Though I believe those are significantly more expensive. So I would recommend the Legion book. And then there's the Army List book that gives you all the rules and the point costs for things like tactical marines, assault marines, dreadnoughts that everyone can take, flyers and vehicles and all that stuff. Now those things have been changed a little bit here and there to FAQs, but for the most part, still a very relevant book, and I would recommend that. And then for models, where to start there is get your hands on any starter box you can. Betrayal of Cal, Burning of Prospero, Trade with Friends, or do whatever you can, because those are the best values to get into the Horus Heresy without having to buy direct Forge World. And Games Workshop offers, I think Games Workshop offers the Mark III and Mark IV power armors in plastic now. Do you know, Kellen? I know they offer Mark IV. Because they had the plastic Mark III in Prospero.
In Prospero, right. So you would
I'm
think,
pretty sure
let me just do a quick.
So if you want a lot of tactical Marines, you can buy Mark III and Mark IV from Games Workshop, as you would normal Marines. One thing I like about the Heresy...
Mark III, Mark IV, both.
Okay, you can buy both. So you can buy both those in plastic, so it's a lot cheaper to buy the Games Workshop ones. And it's plastic too, you don't have to clean it. That's what I would recommend. And then, again, starter boxes. The next question is going to be from Streamlabs, then I'll jump over to the Vault again. And then, boom, what is your favorite model from the new Chaos releases by Dylan Bower? Probably Bower. Bower? I'm going to say Bower. Dylan Bower 101. I don't know why I had a hard time with that. It's probably just Bower. Bower, not Bower. What's your favorite model from the new Chaos model line? Ooh. It's a choice between the two. I think, okay. Man, why do you gotta ask that question? They're all good for they're all amazing. I'm a huge fan of the Reaper chain Gatling cannon thing for the Havocs. They got the underslung like Gatling gun, and just the overall new model looks great. Obviously, the new Obliterators look pretty great. I'm not a huge fan of the Obliterators that have, I don't know if they all have them, but some of them do. They have like little assault Gatling guns on their shoulders, but they're so thin. They seem kind of small, so I'm not a huge fan of that. But the new Obliterator compared to the old Obliterator is just so much better. Rightly so, because the old Obliterator is probably over a decade old, if not more. That's a nice new model. The Lord Discordant is an amazing new model. The new Possessed are amazing models. It's hard to really pick your favorites when Games Workshop is just pumping out these outstanding new models for 40K and Age of Sigmar. Like, you look at Age of Sigmar and you think, wow, what beautiful models. Now Games Workshop is finally releasing new model lines or re-releasing old models in new plastic for 40K, and both games are just looking outstanding. Because the new Chaos Space Marines look great. I'm a huge fan of just basic troops that look amazing. Because that's the thing that's the most numerous on the battlefield, right? You want amazing looking little Black Legion Chaos Space Marines, or Havoc Squads, or Obliterators. You know what, the Terminators, I don't find that big of a change. I know there's a lot of little change on the Terminators. They have the different poses, they look cool and stuff like that, but they're kind of similar to the old, at least to me, to the old Chaos Terminators. So they're definitely not my favorite, but they're still cool looking. Because I thought the old ones looked cool too, with their giant Chaos tusks and stuff like that. Always a fan of Combi Bolters as well. You know, that's an odd little fact for me. When it comes to Storm Bolters and Combi Bolters, effectively the same thing. Aesthetically, huge fan of Combi Bolters over Storm Bolters, and I couldn't tell you why. That's why I always love Chaos Terminators over Loyalist Terminators, or I guess, yeah, Loyalist Terminators. I think the Lord Discordant's probably one of the coolest looking models though, so I'll probably go with him. just because he so obviously stands out. A little smaller than I thought he'd be too after seeing him in person. Next question is going to be by Demon God Nurgle is my savior.
That's a great name.
It's an amazing name. That's just one word too. I guess they all have to be one word. Do you like the bigger place? No. I love it. Are you kidding me? So I think a quote from Steve earlier at lunch today was, I really wish they gave me a couple of things to complain about. I really wish there was a couple of faults with the building, but I can't find them.
Classic Steve.
Right. He wants to find something and pick at it, right? But no, it's really well done. Each floor has a different furnace that controls the heating and cooling of each floor. Now, one of my favorite features is the fact that two pairs of studios that are all built beside each other can have different temperatures, but they all have to be set to either cool or heat. Now, obviously, during this time of year, we don't really want cool because it's usually around 10 Celsius to 15 Celsius at most. So putting on heat, kind of raising it to, I think Matt likes to raise it to like 21 or 20. That's a little too warm for Luka. So what I do is all the studios are on heat. I crank it all the way down to whatever, 10, just so the heat never comes on. And that way I get that natural cool air, or the natural cool basement air, the musky basement air that I really like. And it still warms up to a pretty warm temperature with a couple of guys in it. Now, come summertime, crank that bad boy down to like 18 or 19 Celsius and cool. Ooh, I'm excited for that. That's one of my key favorite features. Other than, you know what one downside is, I'd say, is the fact that the building is so much, it's long and it's intricate, but when you're going from point A to point B, it's kind of, you can see where you're going, you can see where you're walking, so it feels like you're walking so much further to get something, right? The studios are in a very long hallway, and they're all against one wall, whereas the old building, the studios were kind of just thrown all over the place. Whatever worked, we made into a studio.
Exactly. So
when you wanted to go get a piece of terrain, you're kind of going through one door, taking a left, walking for like 2 seconds, taking another right, or left or right, and then it just, it's an intricate path to get somewhere. Now this new building, so you go get a piece of terrain and you have to walk down a really long hallway, and it feels like you're wasting a lot of time with all this walking, but at the same time, it's probably about the same distance. That's not really something to complain about, but if I had to complain about anything, it would be that. That's definitely the worst thing. Loving the new offices for all of the content producers. We're all in one area, and Josh is with us as well. If you come by the bunker, you'll definitely check out the offices where we hang out, and it's a very open concept. We're all facing windows, huge windows too. There's flowers, plants, and we're gonna put a couch there for the guests at some point soon, and we can all kind of see. I'm in the best spot. I got the best spot in the house, I think. Steve, for whatever reason, thinks I'm upset with it, but I am.
Right.
I'm
that
loving
was
it.
So funny.
I can see Cullen from even his own room. I can see Steve. I can see Vito. I can see Josh behind me, and I can see both of the bosses. I have eyes on everybody. Now Steve can only see me and Vito. He can't see Josh. Can he even see you?
Who, Steve?
He can talk to you, but can he see you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Steve is right beside Cullen's office, except like literally right beside it, there's like a wall, so Steve's right against that wall, so he can't see into the room, but I can see into the room. It's easier to explain when you get here. I'm terrible explaining layouts of rooms, but I'm a huge fan of that. Unfortunately for Steve, there's a couple of vending machines that now just recently accepted credit card tapping, so you take your card, you tap it on the machine, and you push whatever buttons you want and you get your candy. Steve's a huge fan of that. Poor Steve. He said several times that he thinks he's going to go broke and he's going to have an issue with these vending machines. I've been good. I have resisted the vending machines thus far.
I have bought one small bag of chips.
What were the Reese's Pieces? Were those from the vending machine?
That was actually given to me by Dee when she came.
Okay.
So,
wait, someone gave you Reese's Pieces?
Yeah.
I thought you broke and used the vending machine. Not that there's anything wrong with using the vending machine. It's just, it's got so many good things in there, and I'm so proud of myself for not breaking yet. I'm gonna grab some tea here.
Right, we're really waiting on who's gonna break the first thing in the new studios. Who gets to claim that lovely honor of breaking something?
Oh my goodness! I hope it's not me. I'm waiting for someone to. Let me put it this way: the old studios, there's a lot of room for garbage and clutter to build up. These new studios are built in such a way that there's just 2 side tables and a gaming table with a little bit of room underneath the gaming table. So there's not going to be a whole lot of room for pop cans, bottles of water, food, stuff like that. So these studios are, for the most part, going to always stay clean, which is going to be amazing. But I'm curious to see if someone can prove me otherwise, or prove Matt and Dave otherwise. Steve was joking around and putting like Gatorade bottles on like the tops of like some of these pipes you can see here. Well, it wasn't this room, but there was another room with like ledges, and it was a little ridiculous. That's a good feature. And anyone to break something, breaking anything in these studios, they're repairable. This studio is pretty durable because it is. These pipes are, I think they're real pipes.
Oh yeah, they're real Are they?
Well, they're
Are they plastic?
They're plastic. Yeah. What is? Oh man. What is
Oh, honestly, this whole time I've thought that these were legit copper pipes.
No, there's the only studio that's got real metal in it is the Necromunda side tables. Those are real pipes.
So are those.
Oh yeah, these ones too. This is what I was talking about. This one and the Necromunda one. Those are real pipes. Other than that, though, the studios themselves, the panels are pretty durable, hard to break. During the move and the setup, we need to put a few studs up to cover some damage. Not damage, but some studs that fell off. But I think someone threw out the entire box of studs.
Oh no, apparently there's more.
Oh, geez,
apparently that was the extra ones. But I mean, there's like, you can see them. Those ones.
Yeah, you can see like, can you see this in the...
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, okay, so you see how there's a stud there, but there's not a stud there? We have like stuff like that. It's very minor details and like something to do, I don't know, later on. Well, the second I say that, it'll never be done, I guess. I mean, I won't be the one to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the construction crew, I know they're still around and they're still working on stuff.
Yeah, I know, they have so much, like, there's always something new they're doing. I figured they'd be done by the time we moved in, and then when they're working on something, I'm surely that's the last thing. And then they start working on something else, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Because they're working on something else.
They're still working on the upstairs. They're still working on Dan's store.
Yep.
Like today, they just put end caps on all of the tables. So
is that what he was doing today?
Yeah, he was putting the end caps on.
Okay.
So we had a photographer in who did some professional photo, or I think she's here probably still taking photos of other studios right now, actually.
I imagine, yeah.
And so that was part of the reason why the live show started a little late.
Isn't it always started at 2? Oh, it was like a few minutes later.
Yeah, it was a few minutes late. That was
not my fault. I was playing a game of Age somewhere.
No.
For me, Colin.
No, that was not you. That was me. I was definitely a little stressed with not having to see the camera work on the computer, and I was just like, something's gonna go wrong.
Everything A-okay so far. All right, next question is by Archon01. This is, will your D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, and role-playing campaigns be smaller now because of the smaller room? So 4 people instead of 6 people as before. Is 4 people going to be the new standard? Sorry, just picking up from what you said before. And no worries.
I don't know if that's what impacted Matthew's decision.
I also don't know. I myself, as a dungeon master, love playing with no more than 4 people.
As Lucas says, as he's DMing our campaign with 6 people tonight.
6 people later tonight. I shouldn't say I dislike it, but I feel so bad for you. You can see when you're DMing, and it's partially on me. But when I see someone like on their phone, it's like, oh, they haven't done anything for a while. I got to throw them into the mix, or like someone else is taking really long on their combat turn, or things like that. I find 4 people is like perfect.
Yeah,
right?
I personally really like the 4-person dynamic as well.
Yes, like the second there's more than 4 people, someone ends up getting left out of something. Either being role-playing interactions, or it's just taking forever, or their turn is never really coming up in combat. Or
one of the things
like that.
I've seen somebody talk about is how for some reason humans like to break up into like groups of 3. So what ends up happening is that when you got 4 people, there's no 3 people unless the DM is talking to one particular person.
Right.
But then when you get 5 people, the DM can be talking to 2 people, and then these 3 people are doing something else.
Right.
And then as you grow, the more
6 people, you have 2 groups of 3.
Exactly, and then you tend to get more distractions and more that kind of stuff as well.
But back to your question, Archon, is 4 going to be the new standard? You'd have to ask Matthew that next week. He would be able to answer that question better for me. Is the size of the studio a factor in that? Probably.
I don't know, because I think
we could fit 6. We could fit 6 in
one
here.
of the things is we haven't considered removing the end tables yet.
Or we could easily do that and easily fit 6 people in here.
Exactly, right? The one with 4 people, where the side tables will just be used for Matthew. But if they needed to, we can move them out and bring smaller tables in and get a bit more room as well.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a bigger party maybe in the future. I don't think the size of the studios has a huge factor on that. I think it's just maybe Matt just feels like playing with 4 people for once. He had such a hard time before because so many people wanted to play. And he's like, okay, I'll just let everyone who wants to play. and then he had to say no to a couple of people, and then now he's just getting better at saying no to people, or at least telling people who's allowed to play, which is totally fair because it should be a rotation, right? I played in the last 2, so I'm not in this D&D, which it hurts me. I love D&D, and I'm not able to play in this one. It's fine. I'll play in the next D&D one.
I get to be in this one.
Yeah, Cullen actually gets to play in one instead of being behind the computer. Now Rob will be the one behind the computer instead, talking to you. You could all make fun of Rob, old man Rob, as he's trying to chat in the Twitch chat with everyone instead of it being Cullen, and you won't be able to feed Cullen coffees. I guess you can still feed Cullen coffees.
No, Cullen's gonna be drinking coffee.
He'd just be at the table playing, actually drinking coffee. Next question. Oh, this one's a little long. I didn't get the timestamp on that one though. So it's before 1417. This is End Dragon. I made a thing with the rare Space Marines I have, a Tyranid army, Kraken, yellow and red shell, and I put Hormagon heads on my Intercessors and Gene Sailor heads on my Hellblades. You made a thing. You know what, End Dragon? Why? Why did you put Tyranid heads on your Space Marines? Why did you do this? If you want, you can say why you did this in another question, because I just answered your question, so you're freed up to do that again. So End Dragon, please let me know why you put Tyranid heads on your Space Marines. And why are they Kraken? Next question will be Drakilian. I have been learning Ruinstorm Demons for Heresy. What do you think of them, Luka? Can't wait to try them and play when I visit. Unfortunately for me, it has happened many times that I said, I am going to go downstairs and I am going to look at Book 8 and I'm going to learn what the Ruinstorm Demons are. Has that happened yet? No. Every time I'm about to walk through the door to go do that, someone says, Luka, can you do this? Luka, can you do that? Luka, 1 second, can you do this? And then I get so distracted and I forget. And I just never get around to it.
That has been my life.
Right. Today might be the day that I actually, after the sit and talk and after my game with Vito, I'm kind of killing time here at the studios before playing D&D later. So maybe, if Lee's still around, I'll look at Book 8. Because we don't actually have Book 8. Lee ordered Book 8 for himself because of the Blood Angels, obviously. And yeah, so maybe at some point I'll take a look at that. I'm mostly curious if the Word Bearers have to use the Demons of the Ruinstorm. Sorry, Ruinstorm Demons, or Demons of the Ruinstorm, whichever one is the correct one, as their ally. So when they bring the Dark Brethren Red War, they can bring an allied detachment of demons, but it says in the book that they have to use, well, 7th edition Chaos Demon Codex from 2013. So they're using a really old book. I don't mind. The book is fun. The book is pretty useful, and it's got some good stuff in it. Now, these Ruinstorm Demons, do I have to use them? I don't know. I'll figure out at some time in the future, and I really don't know. I really don't know. All right. Next question is going to be from a MiniWarGaming Vault member. This is going to be StarMex. Is this? Ooh, this one maybe looks like one. It's not long. At Luka, Games Master question for you. Will you be bringing back Hema Throa for the Watchers in Death campaign? I'll have to go with a no, because Steve and I are nearly done recording. We have episode 11 and 12 to go, and there is no sign of orcs in the upcoming narrative. Now, we've done something new for the first time here, in the fact that we've kind of given the narrative campaign over completely to the author Miles Drake to write. And well, we changed things here and there, but the Watchers in Death and this one are going down a pure, like, Shaiish kind of death, narrative, right? They're only working Shaiish, where Hamathroa, now granted, he can traverse the realms like anyone else can. He operates solely in the realm of life. So, could he show up in this campaign? Certainly possible. Will he? Probably not. But is he done? Never. Hamathroa will surely make an appearance in a future campaign in Age of Sigmar, but not mine, I don't believe. Or just any narrative with Steve or Matthew to return the pain you received from him. Would I bring him back? Maybe. If I have the opportunity to, I would love to bring back Hamathroa. Though I suspect in my hands he won't be nearly as epic as he was in Matthew's, and I just don't know why. I don't know why, but I don't think he'd be as effective. The next question. In other news, I won the Lady Olinder model. Oh, nice! From the 24-hour live stream. I remember that. I finished assembling her, but her cloak has a big gap from her head. You know what I could use to fix it on such a delicate model? You know what? I'm going to Google what that might look like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Where would it be?
Lady Olinder. Images. So you're having a gap. Where is this gap? So you have a gap from her head to her cloak, eh? Oh, I see. So she's got a veil. I don't know if you're talking. Okay, I'm gonna pass your question. Do you mean is there a gap between her robe and her veil? Because that could be what you're talking about here. Oh, you might not be watching. I'm a fool. This is a vault question. I might not be able to answer that one for you. Love your Top Cat dice. Wish I could get some of my own custom dice like yours. Hey, go to ChessX, man. They make all the dice you could ever ask for there. Obviously, other than copyright stuff, but
yeah, that's their only restriction there.
There's that. Oh, if you mean the veil and the robes, how would you? Okay. First of all, I am no master converter or model repairer. I can put glue on one part of plastic and attach it to another part of plastic and keep it clean so the glue doesn't show. I can do that. My usual go-to is things like green stuff. Or do you mean the robe in the back?
Or even potentially liquid green stuff?
Liquid, yeah. I usually go like filling gaps. Liquid green stuff is amazing because you can flatten it out, right?
Yeah,
you get the weird lump.
Yeah, I mean you got to have that one dedicated brush for it.
Yes. Liquid green stuff is if it's a gap that liquid green stuff can fill, it's amazing because it can always be seamless and flat and smooth, and you can do things to ensure that. I'd recommend that, but I am I'm not amazing at that kind of thing. I am a glue broken part onto other broken part to fix it, and that's the extent of my knowledge. Next question here will be from another person on the website. This is Cerberus.
Oh, wait. Before you answer that question, I've been running behind on these subs, and that is my bad, guys.
Okay.
We have Anubis 3238.
Praise be to Anubis.
Tier 1 sub for 6 months. What Space Wolves or 30K or 40K?
Oh,
he's talking about
they're for the Heresy. They are good old loyal Space Wolves.
We've got Now Snow for 5 months.
Nice.
Welcome back, sir. And we've got Black Wolf U96, Tier 1 sub for 5 months, and he said, "Wah!"
Nice.
And Arkfisk for 3 months. So welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. And
thank you so much
for the support. Get the heart. This next one is from Cerberus. Luka, you are fighting chaos. Well, this is number 1. You're fighting chaos. A 20-man squad of Plague Marines, Rubric Marines, Khorne Berserkers, Noise Marines, my fighting 40 Marines, are all 15 inches away. What army would you choose to fight them? Which order do you kill them? Ooh. So, okay, I'm fighting 20 Noise... Easy one. I'm fighting 20 Noise Marines, 20 Plague Marines, 20 Rubric Marines, and 20 Khorne Berserkers. I would tell you I will play Imperial Knights. And if we're having equal points here, I guess I'm only getting really... that's not even 1,000 points. I'd have 1 knight. And I would kill the Khorne Berserkers first. And then the rest wouldn't really do anything. And then, yeah. Actually, the Noise Marines, if they have Master Blasters. Blast Masters? I think they're called Blast Masters. Because I always made the joke called them Master Blasters.
Master Blaster.
They're all 15 inches away, so I'd definitely kill the Khorne Berserkers first. You know what? Maybe I'd kill the Noise Marines first. Who gets to go first? Do I get to go first? Can I move 12 inches backwards? Kill the Noise Marines? And then move 12 inches backwards again, kill the Khorne Berserkers, move 12 inches backwards again, or just kind of skirt around, and then go in and charge when it's safe to go in and charge. I'd probably do that. I'm sorry for the lame answer on Imperial Knights, but it's probably the best one for the scenario here. Or any Eldar faction, because if I get to go first, I move back pretty far, shoot everything, move back again, shoot everything. Any army that could move back pretty far and then shoot them from a distance. Number 2, I collect Death Guard. I'm looking to start an Age of Sigmar army, Khorne or Magican. I'm torn between the two. My personal favorite in Age of Sigmar is Khorne. I feel their army rules are well represented. Not saying that Nurgle isn't. Nurgle, the way Nurgle works in Age of Sigmar, if you're not familiar, is the longer the game is played, the more corruption they spread through the battlefield, the more Nurgle corruption they spread through the battlefield, which allows them to summon Nurgle demons to the battlefield, or summon more feculent Gnarlmaws, which is their tree piece of terrain, and allows them to run and charge all over the place. I'm a huge fan of that. Khorne's rule is, let the blood flow. The more things that die, the more blood tithe points you get. Every time a unit is completely slain, friend or foe, you get blood tithe points, which you can use to help out your army or summon more demons to the battlefield. I'm just a fan of Khorne because Khorne has more mortals than Nurgle does, and demons are cool, but I've always loved the followers of chaos more, the human followers of chaos. whereas Khorne has the Bloodbound and the Warrior, the Slaves to Darkness, which are huge followings or huge model lines of mortals like humans and slightly mutated humans and stuff like that. Whereas Nurgle only has Blight Kings and Blight Lords, which are the guys on the bugs and the guys on foot. Kind of limited. They, of course, naturally have the Slaves to Darkness, but you'd have to do a lot of cool conversions on the Marauders and the Warriors of Chaos to make them look really Nurgle-y. But those are always good additions to any Nurgle army. I would vote Khorne just because I prefer Khorne. That's my answer. Next question here is going to be from... Not Killing us, Astiers. Oh, MWG for life. I formally request a pie plate Age of Sigmar tournament between the content producers. The winner gets to throw a pie in the face of every loser. Hey, man, I'd plan that tournament, and I'd be happy to win or lose that. I love pie, and I guess as long as I can still eat the pie afterwards, I'd be happy.
As long as, would you? I was gonna say, would you eat it if like someone else got pied in the face?
Like if I won?
Like yeah, like if Steve got pied in the face, and then there was Steve face pie. Would you still eat that pie?
It depends if I had my own face pie to eat.
No. There's only Steve face pie.
It depends if he was moving moderately at all.
Depends on Steve's sweat level at the time of the pie in the face.
Right. I've seen Steve walk up a set of stairs and bead sweat. Now, don't want to poke fun. It is fun to poke though. Would I eat sweaty Steve face pie? Maybe. I wouldn't say gross. No. I'd give it a solid maybe.
Sweaty Steve face pie.
Would you eat sweaty Steve face pie at home, viewers? Would you? I would.
Would you pay extra for it?
Oh my. I don't think I'd pay extra for it. I'd only eat it if it was free. That's what I can give you. Next up we have Balfour. Favorite studio themed room? All points. If you could design your own studio, what would the theme be? Okay. Favorite studio theme, or favorite studio is definitely all points because I like the nice, bright, happy fantasy aesthetic. Fantasy aesthetic. I would do the opposite. I would design a very dark, Victorian-themed fantasy studio. Any of you are familiar with, I guess, Victorian architecture? There'd be that. Anyone who's familiar with Innistrad, Magic the Gathering, it would be that. Cullen gasps in the corner.
That would be so cool.
Right. I'm a huge fan of that setting. Anything dark and Victorian, huge fan. I would do that for sure. Does that pertain to anything Warhammer related? Sure, you could push that into Sigmar. I'm sure there's a dark Victorian planet somewhere in 40K. I mean, there's a lot of planets in the solar system, so probably is one. Next question is Demon Striker 09. I'm gonna try and go through these a little bit quicker because I'm running out of time. Have you felt like making a loyalist Primaris Marine army of one of the traitorous legions? Have you felt like making a loyalist Primaris Marines of one of the traitor legions? Like having like a loyalist Death Guard Primaris army?
Yeah, I think he's talking about having Primaris Chaos.
Ooh!
Is that the idea?
Making a loyalist Primaris Marines of one of the traitor legions.
Like that's to me what it seems like, right? Why else would you do that?
Use Primaris Marines for traitor legions? Oh, because they're bigger and they're cooler looking. If that's what you mean, I have not thought about that actually. But the new Chaos Space Marines just came out, so they're a little bit bigger. They almost scale up with a Primaris Marine. Primaris Marine's still obviously a little bit bigger. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the Primaris Marine, other than the fact that their models look amazing. A genetically enhanced superhuman kind of seems a little silly to me. But that's just my opinion. Are they powerful and cool? Yes. Do they have cool rules? Yes. Are they what I feel like a normal tactical marine should be? Yes. I feel like they have the rules a normal tactical marine should have. Like, why not just make... I understand wanting to sell more models. They're killing it. The Primaris Marines are amazing. But they could have just gave those rules to tactical, or just Space Marines, and then released... They could have just... I don't know. It wouldn't have been as effective, though, selling models. I'm thinking they could have just gave those rules to normal Space Marines and then sold a new line of Space Marine kit. But then they wouldn't make nearly as much money as they would have, or have had as cool models as they would have releasing this Primaris line. Because it's a whole new army on its own, right? You have the Vanguard Primaris now, you have the generic Primaris, you have all the Primaris characters, as well as room to grow, right? You could have Primaris Predator kind of tanks. You could have like flying Primaris, like an onslaught detachment of Primaris, where it's just like all heavy weapons and like cool things like that.
So we have Drakilian actually here, just maybe trying to clarify a little bit. He's saying lore-wise, there was Primaris Marines made of Traitor Legions with pre-Heresy gene seed.
Oh,
however,
that. Okay,
however,
yeah.
they were never woken up. Big G kept him asleep. I think he meant making a Primaris army under that pretext.
Oh,
which actually kind of makes a bit of sense.
That'd be kind of cool. They'd have vastly different rules though. They like if you were to have like a Death Guard, like pre-Heresy Death Guard or even Heresy era Death Guard gene seeds would be so different than the Death Guard playstyle now. They'd have that like relentless, they have that kind of relentless, very durable-esque feel. You could just give them the same rules, but like a Plague Marine is a lot more durable than what a Death Guard, like Heresy era Marine would have been. Because obviously the Plague Marines are bloated by chaos, but they had different fighting doctrines, right? They had different, the rapid fire at 18 inches is very Death Guard. That kind of just walk up the board very slowly, not being able to be pinned. Relentless is very Death Guard, stuff like that. I'd love to see cool rules like that. Would I make my own rules? I'm sure I can make up my own rules for them. Paint them the old Death Guard scheme. Huge fan of the old Death Guard scheme, which is like that kind of like, not eggshell white, but like that kind of like creamy white, and like the green shoulder pads. It's kind of like it was just white, but like dirty white. Next question is from Risen Chaos TV. Luka, I can only assume that you love cats. Sorry. Due to the laser cats in your just Luka the Dice intro, so let me ask, do you have a cat? I used to have a cat. This question comes up a lot. It ended up running away when I was on vacation, which is like the worst.
That's
the person that I asked to take care of the cat, they didn't do a good job.
honestly, like if I was supposed to take care of someone's cat and it ran away, I think I would also run away. As to never have to tell them that, because that would just be
right. It was the cat wasn't very comfortable out of its environment. This person was taking care of the cat on their own, like on their own property, and the cat kind of hid in a room and liked to hide in a window near like a window this person often kept open. Or no, the cat figured out how to open the window on their own. And so they'd sit beside the open screen, and the cat kept trying to push its face through the screen because it wanted to get out. So I figured it'd get out this way. So the person said they were going to put a little piece of wood there to like stop so it couldn't be opened up. And it just cat opened the thing, got out the screen, and cat was gone. I've obviously gotten over it. You know what? The cat was already pretty old, and I wasn't overly upset. I was disappointed, right? It's a little bit of, I don't know. Like, here's a little philosophical point for you, right? You avoid the cruel, harsh end of the cat's life. I don't know, this is going dark now. When cats usually get arthritis, they can't do anything anymore. They can't go up and down stairs.
getting so dark.
It's so sad. And I got to avoid that. And you know what? The cat probably lived up life pretty well at the end there, or not at all. I like to imagine that the cat lived it up, went to the barn next door with the other 100 barn cats, and hopefully didn't get mauled to death.
It's so awful.
It is pretty awful. Goodness. It is pretty awful. It's my method of mourning though, where I like to imagine the cat partied until its inevitable end.
Luka's coping mechanism.
Right. Next question is, but yes, sorry, I do love cats. I find I love cats and dogs equally, ironically, for different reasons. They both serve very different purposes as a pet. And I can get into that at some point in the future. But I'm running out of time here. Warbuster. Hey, Luka, what do you think of the Harlequins as an army? I don't know. Not a huge fan of them. They're an elite army that is very all or nothing because their only saving mechanism is, they have defensive tech in the form of negative hit modifiers, which is always nice. But the fact that they're relying on a 4-up invulnerable save is, you're either going to walk all over your opponent. I find a 4-up invulnerable save is never average. It's everything or it's nothing. You're gonna fail all the important ones. You're gonna make all the crappy ones, and that's where it averages out. And you're gonna get walked over every game, or not every game, but you're gonna have games where you walk all over your opponent, or you're gonna have games where your opponent walks all over you and you get to do nothing. Now, granted, that doesn't mean you can't have close games. You could have a game where you annihilate your opponent's army, but they were able to get a lot of objectives, and the game is still objectively close. But the player who's getting their army annihilated, it still never feels that great. You feel good at the end when you win, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like a win. I find a lot of people in this game, when they have a good win when they annihilate their opponent's army and still win on the objectives, but it doesn't matter how many points, as long as you just get your 1 point win. Am I myself happy with an objective win and getting annihilated? If that was my choice, if I had no choice but to get annihilated and I chose for that to happen, then yeah, that feels like a good win. I did well in the game. But if my opponent's just walking all over me and just dicing me and my army's just falling over, and I just so happen to get lucky with a few objectives here or there, maybe my opponent failed a couple of key charges or things along that doesn't really feel like a win. That's just kind of like me getting cracked on by the dice and then getting lucky on a couple of rolls and winning objectively. But I'm not a huge fan of Harlequins. Do I like fighting them? I don't really care if I have to fight them or not. Would I ever play them? Probably not. The next question is by Teleman911. Where are y'all located? Well, we are in Welland, Ontario, which is in southern Ontario. If you're familiar with Niagara Falls, America, we are right beside Niagara Falls, Canada. We're like, what, 20 minutes away from Niagara Falls? 30 minutes? Not even.
No, not even 20 minutes.
10 to 20 minutes away from Niagara Falls.
Maybe 30 minutes from the falls.
Yes.
But, yeah, you got two different bridge choices to choose if you're driving over. The Toronto airport is only an hour and a half away.
Yep.
There are many different ways to get here. And, we're just located in southern Ontario, Canada.
And we got the bunker opening up at some point soon, too. So if you're from far away, stay there when they're opened up. It's just a room you can sleep in. It's got showers. It's got fridges and stuff like that where you can store food nearby and just war game all weekend, all day, whatever. You stay for the week, war game all week. That's the whole idea. We're going to run events and stuff like that. And if you're from Canada, Welland, Ontario is southern Ontario, as I said, and it's, near Hamilton, near Toronto-ish, and it's near Buffalo. It's near the border, right? It's near Fort Erie, Port Colborne, all that stuff. Next question is from Griff2K9. Will Rob get to play Dungeons and Dragons? Probably going to go with a no on that one.
I don't know.
Does he even want to play Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't know if I know that he's trying to get a Starfinder thing on his own channel.
Right.
But other than that, I don't really know his interests in RPGs.
I think he's a sci-fi guy.
And he's very much a board game person, so I don't know how much the RPG games are up his alley. I know he's got, he has I believe there's a board game, D&D equivalent.
There's a lot. There's Tomb Annihilations, there's Ravenloft.
Right, so I believe he's got some of those.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know his opinion on D&D as a game, actually.
You know what? If Matt walked up to Rob and asked him if he wanted to play D&D, I'm sure Rob would say, sure, 100%.
Who would say no?
Right, that's the question. I think Matt's trying to go for the people who want to play it more than anything, though.
And especially with Matthew, with the groups and the playing outside of work, I think he's definitely getting an idea of what kind of personalities he likes.
Right.
As well.
Yeah.
And what kind of, which people you can pair together to make interesting combinations.
Now, I got an interesting question that's popped up. If you were to play D&D, Colin, and say you were playing 4 different groups, would you play a different character, different personality in every group, or do you prefer to play the same kind of character?
Oh, no, I have different ones. Always.
Yeah. I'm always the same, no matter what. My favorite character, I once was in 3 different groups playing the exact same character at exactly about the same level as well.
Wow.
I am so in love with half-orc barbarian Bolfrid the Gold.
Bolfrid the Gold is the best name I've ever heard in my life. I love it.
That is my character. The backstory is always different. I'll give you that. It's not always the same backstory. It's always something different and creative. I'm just such a huge fan of the impetuous barbarian that thinks he's better than everyone else in combat. And the only way to prove that is when he dies. Oh, the only way to prove him wrong is when he dies.
Yep.
And wow, lo and behold, spoilers.
No, I just had an awkward 30 minutes at the beginning of D&D sessions of trying to remember which accent I have and then have both of them start fighting each other as I'm talking. And I'm like, oh no, it's complicated to have multiple characters with ridiculous voices.
I'll be honest, I've tried making different characters in the past and I've just never fallen in love with him as I have that barbarian.
I really like my 2 characters right now. And for anyone, last Sit and Talk actually, with Steve, We were talking about, there was talks about me joining the Tomb Annihilation group and such, and he hadn't known what character I was at that point, and thank you, Dr. Vulcan, who's actually not here today, but when you watch this, Dr. Vulcan, thank you for helping me pull a prank on Steve and having him tell everyone that I was going to play a bard. And I was actually playing a barbarian for everyone who wanted to know.
Barbarian.
Because I know I told Twitch chat, but I don't think anyone who watched it on YouTube might still be wondering what character I chose.
Right.
And it was Mountain Dwarf Barbarian.
Isn't it fun playing barbarian?
It's so good.
I know.
Everyone just sat literally after the session. I believe it was Amanda who was like, can we all play barbarians now? And
Barbarians are so fun.
so great.
They're my favorite by far. Next question is by Wigdor. Luka, you play Sylvaneth, kinda. What would you field in an escalation tournament at 750? I'm gonna assume 1,000 because you put 10,000, 1.5 thousand, and 2,000 points. We're just starting out, and I'm plunging in with the tree people. Ooh, this one is about 1440. Like, it's a little too long. If you want to put the rest of your question down there, that'd be great. Advice, I think you're gonna say advice. Any advice is appreciated.
Sorry, there was just sorry for the sound buzzes that are coming through. I'm not sure whether it's the connection of the wireless labs or what is exactly causing that. I apologize for all you headphone listeners out there who just got deafened.
Is it random and sporadic?
Yeah, it's happened twice so far, so I apologize, and I will definitely try to troubleshoot this more tomorrow. And hopefully that won't happen again, because I don't know, it's that awkward thing. I don't know if it's the wireless connection, whether it's the board connected to the computer that I hooked up like 20 minutes before we went live.
Yep.
So there are a lot of things that I threw together at the last minute, so it could be a couple of these things.
He is very much winging it right now, which is amazing. Yes. What would I played him a little bit. Sylvaneth has 750 points is Kurnoth Hunters for sure.
What was the timestamp on that?
About 1440-ish, 1441 is by Wigdor. Any time before 1442, 30.
Oh, here we go.
It's
about Sylvaneth?
Yeah, it's I'm plunging in with a tree people, and it says advice. Is where it gets cut off for me.
Advice plus. That's all it was.
Okay, well, at 750 points, I'd definitely recommend Kurnoth Hunters. I think they're 220 points a unit. They're probably one of the best things in the book. I go with them for sure. At 1,000 points, I would just go more Kurnoth Hunters. At 1.5 thousand points, I'd probably throw in a Spirit of Durthu and Kurnoth Hunters. And at 2,000 points, Tree Lord Ancient, Spirit of Durthu, and Kurnoth Hunters, I believe, or something like that. That's probably your best bet. And running the really hyper aggressive battalion that gives you bonuses to charging and all that when you pop up from. It's just so good. It's just so good. But yeah, definitely Kurnoth Hunters and Kurnoth Hunters into probably a Spirit of Durthu and Kurnoth Hunters. Obviously throwing in like a Branch Witch or a Branch Wraith. Yeah, the two wizard ladies to have some support. And you want trees, of course, like the actual Sylvaneth Wildwoods. That's my recommendation. Just the Kurnoth Hunters are so blatantly powerful. It's ridiculous. And obviously, when you can, fit in squads of Dryads too, because they're great at holding objectives and they're great at just staying in the trees and never leaving the trees. The next one is by N-Dragon at 1442.
It's the big one, right? Yeah, I saw it there. So, okay, where are we? So this is in reference to the the Tyranid Space Marines.
Yes.
I made it because I had Hormagaunts, and I hate the Hormagaunt models. And I had Space Marines from the No Fear pack, so it made it. I made it.
Yeah.
Also, this way people stopped mocking me for playing Space Marines and Tyranids in the Sail army because I didn't even have enough points.
Oh, gotcha. So you didn't have enough points to play like 2,000 point games, so you're playing Space Marines and Tyranids to make up a 2,000 point game. Well, you can do that in 40k now. You can have just two different detachments of Space Marines and Tyranids. It legally works, and you just can't mix the detachments. You hate Hormagaunts though, eh? I think of a Hormagaunt as one of my favorite models, my dude.
That's the one with the gun?
That's a Termagant.
Okay,
The Hormagaunt's the scything.
I fully agree with that.
You don't like the little scything guys?
No, I love them. I thought you meant the one with the guns, and I was like, Luka.
No, I don't like them. I wish Tyranids never got guns.
I fully agree.
You know what? I had a really good discussion with Matt the other day about what if the Tyranids never existed, and what if Games Workshop just released them now? how cool would that be for the 40k narrative?
Hmm.
Just this, all of a sudden for the last 30 years, you've been dealing with chaos as a major threat. There's always Xenos threats, but chaos is the threat. And now all of a sudden, bam,
Floats
Tyranids
down,
hit,
right?
floats in the hive. Now would have been the perfect time to release Tyranids, but whatever. And the models would have been ridiculously cool instead of like the 80s like alien theme, right? Well, to be fair, I think they're amazing looking. I love the Tyranids. I just think that now would be a perfect time to release them. And you know what? Dragon, you do what you got to do, right? To get to 2K points, this makes sense. Next question is by Balfour. Thoughts on the new big FAQ? Still not completely happy with the fly rule. Boop. Just because, well, okay, it's a step in the right direction. So the new fly rule is you can move over. They clarified that you ignore any vertical distance. Yeah, vertical distance when moving fly. So you just always measure in a straight line. And you ignore models and terrain and all that stuff. Fine, perfectly fine. And then you can use fly to move over models when you charge, but not terrain features. So what I've said in my games, the only slight house rule I made there was the fact that you can fly over pretty much whatever I deem is available to fly over in my game. If I have like little barrels and crates on the ground, I don't have to move around the crates. I can just fly over them. Or like if there's like a barricade or like the little like the Imperial barricade things. What are they called? Aegis defense line.
Yes.
I'm like, you can fly over those too because whatever, they're small. It bothers me that you couldn't do that before. Stuff like that. I know it's technically it's just I don't know. I love being able to always fly. That's why I love Age of Sigmar because of always flying and stuff like that. The new FAQ has changed so many things that's a monstrous question. What do I think about it? I like it. They didn't make any changes that I disliked. They made the Knight Castellan more expensive, which is fine. It was pretty efficient. It changed up. It actually hit a lot of Josh's armies, which I found funny. I know a couple people here were upset that the Bolter Beta rule got nerfed a little bit in the fact that it doesn't work for vehicles. It only works for like infantry, bikes, and dreadnoughts essentially. So like Land Raiders and the Flyers can't get Hurricane Bolter spam going anymore. But whatever. It's not like Land Raiders were used because of the Bolter Beta rule. It just hurt Land Raiders even more. I think it was mostly for the Flyers. That's the only disappointment.
Do you still have the questions open?
Yes.
Do you want to close that up?
Yes, actually I'll close those now. And then I'm going to finish up the questions. So you have got 10 seconds to put a question forward before I close it. You know what? Okay, I'll give you 30 because 10 is a little much. A little too little. And then I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to finish answering questions. And then when I'm done with questions, I'll have to sign off there. And then next week, you'll be catching Matt. So before I do that, I have one more question from a Vault member. Well, I got a few more questions from Vault members here. This is Big Mikey. After I finish reading this question, I'll close the other chat. Hey, Luka. How did you fare at the tournament with the Catachans? Assuming you went to Adepticon, were there any games you saw that you would love to play? I did not go to Adepticon. I would have liked to, but this time I was trying to save up money and I didn't want to spend any money, though I regret going. It sounded like it was a really good time. I'll probably go next year. Also, with the new Horus Heresy book out, we can now play demons. Do you think you will be giving them a try? So, first question, how did I fare at the tournament? Very well. I was fighting for second place in the last round. It wasn't ITC. It was just Eternal War, very kind of like random scenarios, and the last scenario was not good for my list at all. It was the Intel Eternal War mission where you have to put intel on your characters. You start scoring points based on how many of your characters are still alive with intel. And you score extra points if you run on the middle objective with the intel character. But I was playing Astra Militarum, where my characters had, I put them on, I had 4 wound characters to put them on. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could have put it on the Castellan. I can't remember what the rules are. I don't know if I could put it on the Castellan, but that would have been only one of my intel points on the Castellan and the other 2 intel points on toughness 3, 4 wound characters. I had Yarick though too, but Yarick ended up getting killed very easily, so he had one of the intels. He went down, he didn't put up a fight. I failed a rerollable 3-up to ignore the last damage on his Iron Will roll, so that kind of sucked. And then the other character was just some 4-up or 5-up invulnerable save character that ended up going down as well. And then it just didn't go well for me. So I ended up going, I think, tying for 8th place. I think there was like about 30-35 people. It was a small tournament. I came in 8th place, but I was fighting for 2nd, and it was really fun. And would I do it again? 100%. I had a ton of fun with that list. Would I try demons from Horus Heresy? Probably not. But would I ally them in with my word bearers if I can? 100% yes. When I play the Horus Heresy, I want to have Marine on Marine. I love it. At first, I didn't like it, and for whatever reason, I did a 100% flip, and I fell in love with it. Uno momento as I close the chat because I forgot. Closed. I will be answering the rest of the questions after this. But no, I probably wouldn't play solo demons. I would pass on that, but I would ally them in if possible. And I did not go to Adepticon, Big Mikey, though next year I probably will. Next question here is going to be by DM Crab. Are bunker rooms ready for guests? No, currently not. When they will be ready, I do not know, and neither does Cullen. Next question is Miso82. What's my opinion on Avengers Endgame and Game of Thrones Battle of Winterfell?
Oh, do you want us to spoil it for everyone on the internet? No.
So I just went to go see Endgame on Tuesday night. This is Thursday.
I also saw it that same night.
Would I see it again? Yes. Am I going to watch it when it eventually goes on Netflix? Yes. Yes. It was so good.
I was thoroughly entertained.
Yes. For the whole, I want to say I was captivated the entire movie.
Yep.
I was paying attention to every scene, every word being said. It had my full attention. They did an amazing job of that. And I can very easily get distracted. Not that it's a bad thing. Not that it's the movie's fault. I just get distracted. But this movie had me going the whole time.
Same.
Game of Thrones, fun fact, I'm not currently caught up with Game of Thrones. I have not watched season 8 at all yet. I'm currently watching it with someone else, and we're waiting to get caught up until season 8.
Oh, I see.
So we're currently on, I've already seen seasons 1 to 7 twice.
Okay.
So I'm currently on season 4 from season 1 for the 3rd time, and I've been doing a good job of avoiding spoilers so far, but I have no opinion on Game of Thrones yet. I've heard it's good. That's all I can say.
it has been...
Right?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
I had the last episode spoiled for me. Not the events of it, but what it, like...
Yeah, okay.
What's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the theme of it is. That was weird.
Was that real?
Yeah, it was real. I think someone's outside the door, and I think they flash the lights on and off. We have different switches for the room, and there's switches that control the track lights, and I think someone flicked those on and off really quick.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
I think that's what it was. Next question is by Now Snow. I might have missed it, but are we back at the regular Twitch schedule?
Everything except for the RPG show right now.
Yes, I forgot to mention earlier on that Chris's painting Chris's painting live stream show, the Auxilium,
Painting Auxilium,
will be going on as scheduled tomorrow. So make sure you check that out, everyone.
And actually, now that I say it out loud, I'm not exactly sure about Shrine of Chaos, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. Dave is obviously still working on a bunch of stuff here at the bunker.
He's still working on his office.
He's constantly working on, talking to the construction crew, and yeah, his office isn't fully unpacked yet.
Yep.
So maybe Shrine will be a couple weeks out.
Yep.
But I honestly hadn't thought of it until right now, so I'm gonna talk to him about that.
Dave is super busy, right? Pretty much anytime we're trying to do something, he's getting a call, or he has to go deal with something else, or the construction guys will need to grab him for something, and he's all over the place right now. But the Sit and Talk is going to be on schedule, and so will the Painting Auxilium. And the D&D role-playing show will be postponed for a bit. Next question is by Risen Chaos TV. Any tips for Space Marine armies? Side note, Storm Talons are freaking amazing. Okay. Any tips for Space Marines? So we're going to go Loyalist. Jeez, man. Primaris is probably the way to go now. Yeah, the way to go now. Obviously, Gilliman and any Ultramarine list is really strong. Heck, even Gilliman and an Imperium army is really strong. I know you can't make Imperium detachments, but you can make multiple detachments in different books, and Gilliman affects all of them. Gilliman right now is strong. Gilliman has always been strong. Blood Angels are pretty good. Space Wolves are kind of lacking, but you can make Blood Angels good. So Primaris, Ultramarines, and Blood Angels are all pretty good. That's pretty much all the tips I can get you, though. If you want good Space Marines, you get Primaris. If you want to play something really efficient, you play any Gilliman list is always really efficient. Next question is from Balfour. What is the go-to place now for lunch with the new location? That's Trappers, I believe. It's a bar right across the street. Just a quick little walk, and it is awesome. It is, I don't know, it's clean. It's got pool tables. It's got darts. It's got a shuffleboard. Good environment. Huge Cleveland Brown fans, though, if that's a turnoff for anyone. I myself don't mind either way. Very neutral party in that regard.
I have no hand in football either, so
Right.
I am like,
I used to
sure.
be, I was really big into football in high school, but like after high school, I got more into 40K and just like more nerdy things. So I kind of like one kind of canceled out the other. It's awesome food too. Huge fan of the food. You know what? Even Chris is trying out the menu, and Chris has been very much like, I'm perfectly happy ordering my same chicken wings, my 1 pound of same chicken wings for like 10 years in a row every Thursday at lunch.
Yeah, it's at least, I swear he's been doing that for at least like 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
3 years for sure.
He's changed up his order every time. So well, not because he doesn't like it, because he wants to try everything first.
That's true. And I will say it's nice to have a change up of menu, as we were getting a little
Yes.
bored of the previous place.
Next question here is from a Vault member. I got just a couple of questions left. Actually, I got just 2 more questions left from the Danish Viking Alex. Hello again, the Danish Viking Alex. Posted 3 weeks ago. I am Demons player. I haven't had a chance to try out the new Blades of Khorne Battletome, but from what I have heard, it is built around having priests. I play demons. Is the army doable without the priest? Happy wargaming. Ooh, man.
Did I just hear a cow?
I think there was a cow out there. Now, what I would recommend is that even if you're playing demons, if you are so against the idea of getting a slaughter priest, now this is, I agree, I think this is an oversight in the book. If you are against the idea of getting a slaughter priest, you're really seriously limiting your capabilities, because the slaughter priest prayers are very powerful, and the new free terrain feature you get in the form of the skull altar is very powerful as well.
Are they trying to get us out or something?
There's a cowman in there. There's a cowman outside of the door. But yeah, if you're playing demons and you can and you want to ally in slaughter priests, I'd say 1 per 1,000 points at least, then do it. Is it playable without slaughter priests? 100%, but you're missing out on a key part of your army, right? Now, I think it is a design flaw that the slaughter priests are such a huge part of the book, because you don't have any judgments without a slaughter priest. You don't have any of the prayers, the blood fuel prayers without a slaughter priest either. If you can, I'm actually playing a game right now, all demons, but with slaughter priests. So I would highly recommend slaughter priests. The last question is by MWG for life. Who lives closest to the new location?
Dave.
I think it's Dave.
It's Dave.
It's definitely Dave, and then Matt, and then Josh, Rob, you, Steve, Mike. Oh, Mike's pretty close too.
Yeah, Mike's actually
the closest, I think.
In the top for sure.
It's Dave or Mike, and then Matt. No, Matt or Josh. I think it's Matt then Josh for proximity.
Josh might be closer.
It's close. It's tight. It's one of the two in that place, and then it's Rob.
Yep.
I'm not too sure. I think it's Aaron then.
Oh. Chris is farther than Aaron, so then it's Aaron.
And then Chris. And then it's you or Steve.
And then it's me.
Then it's you, then Steve. And then Vito in St. Catharines.
Yep.
And then me in Hamilton. I live the furthest. It's about, at this point now, it's a 50-minute drive because they added 5 minutes to my drive. RIP.
Man, they shaved like 2 to 3 minutes off mine.
Yeah. And that adds up to, when you think about it, that's 10 minutes a day. That is 50 minutes a week that I'm missing out on now.
Extra 15 minutes in the car a week.
All week. Yeah, that alone, if I think about it, is a longer chapter of my audiobook that I get to listen to.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true.
When you add them all up. That is all of the questions I have for today after I close the chats, everyone. I want to remind you, tomorrow is Chris's painting auxilium on schedule.
1 p.m.
Oh, 1 p.m. Sorry, I thought you were saying you had a point. He had his finger up.
I do, but
okay. Also, next week is Matthew at MiniWarGaming. So what you want to do is, if you're not watching this live, just go check out the live show next week because it should be on schedule. But if you're not watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube, do not leave your questions below on YouTube. You have to go to MiniWarGaming and watch the video there, or watch it on YouTube, but go to MiniWarGaming to leave questions for Matt. Just be like, @Matt, @Boss, whatever you want to put. He'll know it's for him. Ask him your question there pertaining to tournament hall stuff, role-playing game stuff,
boss management stuff, like all those questions you got.
He'll knock
send them to Matthew. Again, there's a couple things that he still won't be able to answer, like when stuff would be opening. That's
he might
probably still more Dave than, but yeah, he'll definitely have a way better answer than we will.
And it'll probably be like, I don't know, ask Dave.
Yeah, exactly. But we did have 2 more subs before the stream ended. We have Crumrin for 6 months.
Very
And King Wiku back for his second month. So thank you so much. Second month is the most important month.
Is it?
Yes, because that means they're gonna. That typically that like you have the most drop off of people subscribing for 1 month and then falling off.
Right.
But then when they go to the second month, there's a then much greater chance that they will then continue. So
Gotcha.
So second month is always the most important.
And now here comes Josh telling me to stop the live show because he's concerned about something.
Stop, just wrap her up, bud.
We're wrapping it up. We're wrapping it up.
They're all laughing
Goodbye,
outside.
everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Happy wargaming.
See you later.